Hey everybody, it's video time once again, and it's been a couple of extra days since I did my last video, but I've been working on something slightly different and slightly bigger. Basically what happened is my 8-year-old has started having an allergic reaction to the amount of sawdust that was coming up from my office, and he was waking up in a miserable mood. He was sneezing, he was coughing, so I've had to take all my stuff and move it into the garage, which is okay because we weren't really using the garage for the car anyway. So now all of a sudden I've got my own workshop, and today I'm going to give you a quick tour and show you all the progress that I've been up to. So starting over here, easy one right away. You just put the chemicals up on the shelf, keep them out of the reach of the kids. They can't get into them, hopefully, although the 4-year-old is learning to climb all over everything, so you never know. But keep them up as high as you can and hope for the best, right? First big tool along the tour is my stepbrother has come through once again for me. He gave me his old grinder. Gave or lent, we're not really sure, but I've got it for now, let's put it that way. And that's going to come in handy for a couple of projects coming up. I've still got to get the other side to it. Got to put on the soft feathery thing on this side, but the stone is over there, and that's all set to go. I've plugged it in, I've tried it, it works. So we're good for that. We've got some woodworking projects there. That's some wood putty, some remover, some glue, my secret stash of ginger ale, my records up there, and then of course we've got the receiver, the record player, the big speakers down below, bag of concrete mix that was supposed to be used for something, hasn't been, but still got that in storage extra. And then we go up top, we've got a couple of margarine containers and an empty bottle. Those are being saved for what, I don't know, but that's the one thing I've discovered. Never throw things away. You'll always find a use for it. And much to a few people's annoyance, I keep quite a bit of stuff, and sometimes it piles up, but in the end it gets used. So then you've got my butane torch right there, a whole load of rope. That's some paracord there, some basic twine stuff there. That's a Samurai Menpo mask I've been working on. Managed to find the old washing detergent bottle that it sits on. Funny enough, the contour of it, the way it comes in like that, it almost perfectly mimics a facial contour. So if you're ever going to do something like that, find yourself an old detergent bottle like that, and that's what you should be using. Then we've got some jigs sitting in the corner. And then come around here, we've got a tank ready to blast anybody who comes in the door. A couple of old textbooks. I've got a perfect use for this, and basically it's whacking things on the head. I was never one for calculus, and I'm still not, but that will come in handy for doing something, not really sure. Then come down here, hammer, scissors, all the basics, dustpan. Got in the drawer, we've got a little handheld saw, rolling pin that I made, and then drawer full of tape down there. We've got sharpening stones in there, a weight set. I think you've seen my video. This is the weight that I used for doing wax seal stamping with, so I'm keeping that handy because I'm going to be doing some more stamping in the future. And then we come down here. Lucky enough, I do a lot of dumpster diving, funny enough, and I found this beauty one day. Somebody threw it out and I said, hey, I'll take it. And I've already used it a couple of times. That's my chessboard, still in progress. That's my Deadpool poster I managed to finagle out of somebody. And then we've got some paintbrushes. We've got the most annoying clock in the world. See if we can get the alarm going for you. Originally, my sister tried giving this to my kids, and I heard that and I said, absolutely not. So that's why it's hiding in the garage. But it will not be anywhere inside. And then we come up here, I've put in a shelf, and this is a piece of wood that I will be getting to at some point or another. That's got to be sanded out, and then I'm going to put probably some epoxy on that and make a table out of it. And then we've got all my little wood spirits that I've been carving over the past 3-4 weeks or so. We've got an old axe handle that I managed to sand and clean and restore. Doesn't have a head on it, but I just thought that's a good looking piece of wood right there. Why don't I keep it on a shelf? Probably put a head on it at some point or another. That's a wolf I carved once upon a time. These are my old man glasses. I don't even need them for reading. It's just when things are this close that I seem to have a problem with. So, yeah, I keep them for all my fine detailing work, and they sit up there. And then just a couple of knickknacks. This guy is actually going to be a project because this guy, his elastic snapped off at one point, so we're going to take the elastic out of this guy and put him in this guy, and then this guy is going to go back in his tank up there. That's probably the next project. I'm not going to talk too much about that right now. And this is the update on the chess pieces. You can see they've all been cut down to size, and I've got some color on these. I'll do a separate video on that. We've got some more toys in there. That's another video to come at some point. And then we've got up here, I've discovered, I used to work in kitchens for quite a few years, and I've discovered that old chef coats work wonders when you're trying to keep the dust off. Because you don't really care if you get them dirty, because, well, I don't work in kitchens anymore, so I'm just wearing them in the garage for when I do my woodworking, and they work great for that. And then we come down here. I've managed, once again, like I said, dumpster diving, I've managed to find 2 of these projectors, and they're going to have a use at some point. I'm going to, you saw all the space on that wall over there. At some point I'm going to let the kids draw on there, and they're going to do it with these guys. I just have to get some acetate. That was my paper experiment that I still haven't quite finished with. I tried it at one point, didn't work out so well. If anybody's got some suggestions, basically this is an old t-shirt that I tried cutting into bits, and I didn't get the bits small enough. I tried boiling it in baking soda, I've tried breaking it down, I tried using a blender, but I still couldn't get it any smaller than that. So anybody has any tips on how to break down cotton fibers to get it to go into paper, I'd love to hear them. And then that's just a quick jig I fancy, or I made out of an old shoebox. I just cut the middle out, and that was for dipping to get the pulp. After that, we've got the wood pile, old sheets of, what's it called? PDF, I think. Not sure. MDF, PDF, something like that. Old bits of wood, old bits of shelving, so that's waiting for something to happen. And then we come around here. This is what I've been up to this week as well. This is a frame that I had with a very hideous picture in it. And it was, believe it or not, it's set on the back. $270. There you go. And I thought, okay, well, that picture is not worth $270 to me. So basically I opened it up, chucked the picture, kept the frame. And the frame is solid wood. I don't know what it is. It might be birch, it might be oak, one or the other. But either way, I've just I've taken the sandpaper out and I've got it down to a mirror finish basically, and I'm going to put a new picture in there, and it's got a new life. And then after that, another project, basically just sanding down again. This is an old antique lamp stand that I found in a dumpster one day. I don't actually dive into the dumpsters, but I do, you know, whenever I pass buildings and I see something sitting out like this, I help myself. And, you know, as they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. But that's basically worked out for me. And then down there we've got a cooler, which again was a dumpster find. And the plan with the cooler is it's going to be filled with water, and that's probably going to be my paper pulp container. And these are some old boards. I'm going to cut the middle out of that, and that'll be my decal for doing the paper with, once I get some screen as well. You can see over here I've got an old, this was a Korean Tansu cabinet that I found, and I'm going to refinish that and then hopefully do something with it. The only problem with this one, when I found this, the previous owner had not the greatest smelling spices in there. So it's left a bit of a smell. If anybody's got some hints on how to get smells out of cabinets, let me know, because this thing, I've tried airing it out, I tried again scrubbing it with baking soda, but it's still got a fairly strong odor to it, so it's not going to be something that can sit in the house and have paper in it, unfortunately, unless I take the back off, which is another possibility. And then we've got some bark here that I'm still trying to figure out what to do with. Again, throw nothing away. And then we've got this guy over here, which is a work in progress again, very similar to the wood spirits up there. We've got an old china cabinet that is probably about 100 years old or so. I found that once upon a time, probably about 2 years ago now, and I fell in love with it right away because the wood inside is really nice and the feet on it were really nice. Unfortunately, one of them is snapped off, so I'm gonna have to do something about that. I'm not quite sure what to do with it, but that's another future project. And then again, we get to the post here. This is scrap paper that will be mashed up into pulp and made into new paper. This is my clay bag with clay hanging in it. This is dried clay in here that I still have to grind down. And then in here we have my already ground clay. And I've now got a couple of old pillowcases that I can use to do that with. But yeah, this is all ground clay in here, and this is all ground pottery. And then I mix that with a little bit of the not so refined creek clay. And that's what gives me the best mix so far. Here are all my shavings off my various woodworking projects, and basically what's going to happen with that is it's just going to go in the garden as mulch. And then you come around here. I brought the kids' table in case they wanted to hang out, do their homework in here, you know, hang out with Dad while they still can. You know, obviously once they get older they're not going to be that interested. And then we come around here, just a recycling box with some old rags in it. And like I said, my stepbrother came through again. So here we've got a handheld planer. We've got a 12-inch planer. We've got a table saw. And we've got a scroll saw. So obviously all these things are going to be put to use sometime soon. And lots of exciting projects to come. And after that, we've just got a big log pile for extra wood. Do some woodworking. And we got a blue bucket over here. That's probably going to be used for rainwater collection. And then we come outside and we've got my brick collection, which should be used as open pit barbecue, something like that. Unfortunately, for those of you who watched my tandoor oven video, it rained off and on for about 3 weeks, and in the end I had to give up on the tandoor. Because the clay, even the clay that did harden, ended up softening with all the rain that we had, and it's a bit of a mess. And obviously with this being Canada, winter is coming and it's not going to get any better. So the tandoor is a bit of a write-off, but I'll try something again next year, maybe above ground, and maybe change the river clay for something else. But hopefully that'll work out. But in the meantime, yeah, we've got the beginnings of an open pit barbecue, and then in here we got some fire bricks, so we'll play with those as well. So that's your big tour. Obviously, again, it's still early days. I've only had this about a week, and we're going to work on it some more. But that's it for now. Let me know what you think. Talk to you later.